I want to thank God for yet another opportunity to address us today. I wish to just spend a few minutes to address us on the topic trials and temptations. Trials and temptations. And the best and scripture of choice for this moment is from the book of James chapter 1. James chapter 1 is a powerful tool for this guide. And so James chapter 1 verse 2 says this: "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials and of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God to give generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given unto you." Now let me pull it up to that verse 5. I think we can read on and on trials and temptations. And you know, one of the things that amazes me about this piece of scripture, the Bible says that, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds. Now that's a very, I find it weird kind of introduction to this topic. How do you consider a pure joy? You only consider trials and temptations pure joy because it can only be so if the purpose of that temptation and that trial is achieved. And so, in this scripture, verse 3 says, "Because you know the testing of your faith produces perseverance." Now, every time you have a trial or a temptation, which is trials and temptations for me when I was a younger person, it was synonymous to being a young person. Temptations for a young person is synonymous. You will always have trials, temptations. And of course, you find that the trials will take a very huge portion of your life, and in most of the days, or every day, you'll be bound to get a way of overcoming that temptation. But what amazes me here is that testing of your faith, it produces perseverance. Now, every moment you go through a temptation, the end result ought to be test of faith and perseverance. And because life is not made in a day, like they say Rome was not built in a day or something, you must know that the way you overcome each and every temptation gives you a mileage to overcome in future. Meaning that the drive that you should always have in your life is overcoming of every kind of temptations. May it be temptation from the net, temptations through relationships that you have in the process of building a strong family or a relationship that will be forever. You'll find yourself sometimes tempted even to actually go beyond where you ought not to go. So temptations, you will always produce perseverance. And I pray that the grace of God shall be upon you, and so that you can be able to do that and be, persevere. Then verse 4 says, "Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may mature and complete, not lacking anything." That the only way to achieve maturity is through perseverance. So you must always know that if I want to mature, if I want to get out of a habit, if I want to grow up in something, I must undergo that process of perseverance. And so there's no shortcut about it. Nobody lied to you. Even us who today are speaking this way had to go through that process. And so the process of maturity got to have a lot to do with perseverance. And the Bible says, not lacking anything. So there will be that process of completion. I pray that God will continue completing every season of your life. That even in your youth, right now, as a younger person, that you will complete that process. That God will give you that mileage even to achieve that. And then they say, if you lack wisdom, if you lack wisdom, you should ask from God, who gives generously. Now I love that. That in every situation of life, whatever temptations comes your way, whatever trial that comes on your way, then you must know that God says, and I will give you wisdom. And that's how I like sometimes responding to people who ask me, Kwani God is so unfair, anatupatianga hizi ma trials and ma temptations, or these temptations comes on our way. Yeah, the thing is, God will always have the solution for you. He will give you wisdom. And that is what I pray, that you ask wisdom from God. And let me tell you, wisdom is not the same as knowledge. Some of us as young people know so many things. I know you can get the Google on board, and Google is your friend, will answer so many questions. Yes, you may know so many things. Knowledge, you can go to school, and thank God many of you have gone to school, or they're in school, they are learning here and there. Sometimes you learn from many people. All that can be put together to mean knowledge. But I want to tell you, wisdom is from God. That's why he says that if you lack wisdom, which we often do, we lack wisdom many times, then the Bible here tells us, and then you ask from God. And how does he give wisdom? God has a package of wisdom. And how does he package it? He says, I will give it to you generously. Meaning that without fail. And he says to all without finding fault, that and it will be given to you. So may you seek wisdom in your trials, in your temptations, the challenges that you have. But then I would want to challenge us as young people. Some of us keep quiet, and you just there. Sometimes the challenges that we are having right now, you know, uko pale home peke yako, then you find yourself lonely. Of course, that loneliness graduates to something else that we call depression. And the depression then graduates to something else which gets to suicidal thoughts and thoughts that are very discouraging. But I want to tell you, once you open up, talk to someone who may be wiser. By the way, all the challenges, the temptations that you're going through, the challenges that you're going through, have someone else has gone through them. So there is no point of you sitting back there and assuming that you will overcome it by yourself. How I say I could fight on my own battles. You know, atinataka to fight on my own way. No, it doesn't work like that. Please go ahead and get someone on board who can talk, you can reach out to, that you can connect with, and finally you'll be able to achieve it. So may God bless you through your trials and your temptation. He will guide you. Bottom line is that you will get what we've called perseverance, and through that it will graduate to becoming a journey of maturity. And of course, through all this, God will give you wisdom. So God bless you. I hope those few words of wisdom and nuggets will give you some hope even in the coming times. So God bless you and keep you. I pray that may the Lord bless you abundantly.